A question we have commonly been asked is, how do I pump up my Brompton Electric front tyre? And this week alone we were asked twice by people that had punctures in their front tyre and they struggled to pump it up using the Brompton pump. So we thought we'd give it a go. But for this I will need a Brompton Electric and a collection of pumps. One Brompton Electric. Two track pumps. And one Brompton pump. One question we get asked is how to use the Brompton pump. This is especially by beginners, and it's something we're going to make a quick video on very shortly. We're going to firstly pump up the front tyre using the Brompton pump. The first thing we need to do is find the valve. He seems to be nicely hiding. We then want to take the dust cap off. The issue that people are reporting is that there's not enough space between the end of the valve and the hub for fitting the pump into. Different inner tubes have different length valves. This is the standard impact that comes with your Brompton Electric. First up, the Brompton pump. We're just going to pop it on, lock it in place and pump it up. It is worth noting that when I've got the pump on, the valve is slightly bent away from its downward position. This is fine. It bends with no problem and we're not putting any extra pressure on it. Once it's pumped up enough to ride home, we'll just take the pump off, pop the valve cap back on, and then we'll ride home. What I normally do is, if I've had a puncture when I'm on the road, is I pump the tyre up as much as I can with the Brompton pump, and then I'll ride home and I'll pump it up using a track pump. I just pop the pump away so it's safe for my journey home. Some people have said that it's harder to pump up the electric front wheel when fitted with my favourite AV4 inner tubes. I'm just going to pop the pump on. Lock it in place. And the valve does slightly have to bend to make sure that I can lock it in place, but then I can pump it up. So I think it's fine. To pump up your tyres accurately, you really need a pump with a gauge in it. We tend to use a track pump like this because it has a nice big gauge, so we can see what pressure we're pumping the tyres up to. For the electric, I tend to have them between 80 and 100 psi, just because I don't mind a slightly harder ride. Two track pumps. They have slightly different heads. This one, you pop the valve on and you lock it in place, which will mean this will overlap with the hub of the front wheel. This type of connector is slightly different. The valve goes in here, and the locking mechanism twists sideways so that it doesn't interfere with the hub on the front wheel in the same way. So now we're going to try them both to see if they both work. Starting with the one that's much more like the Brompton pump. I'm going to push it on and lock it in place. I'm going to pump up my tyre to the desired pressure. And then I'm going to remove the pump by undoing the locking mechanism and pulling the pump off. As you can see, it worked absolutely fine. Next up, the other type. I'm going to pop him on the valve, lock it in place, pump up my tyre to the desired pressure, undoing the locking mechanism and pulling the pump off. If you like this video on the Brompton Electric front wheel and pumping it up using your Brompton pump or a track pump, we'd really like it if you gave us a big thumbs up. If you've got any comments or suggestions for videos, please comment in the comment section below. Coming up with the Brompton Electric, we're going to fit a brighter front light. And we're also going to look into how quickly the fast charger charges the battery. First, we have to kill this one. So, we're going to go for a ride. If you want to see more of our videos, please hit the bell button and subscribe. Then you get a notification when we upload a new video. Here? Here? Just this week, we have been asked twice. No, we haven't. I'm just going to remove it. I can't do it. And this is why we're going to make a video on it. Obviously, different inner tube. First up, the Brompton pump. We're just going to pop it on. And pull it off. The valve is slightly bent from the horizontal downward. This valve connector is slightly different. It fits on the valve here and is locked in place. I don't know what it's called. Oh, I haven't. I was acting. It is very slightly. We think approximately 2 millimetres. If you like our video, if you liked our video about the Brompton Electric front tyre and how to pump it up, and the people riding past just being annoying. If you liked our video on how to pump up your Coming up with the Brompton Electric, we're going to look at fitting a brighter front light. Look at